I'm about to assemble this fifth and reverse section on this R380. I thought it was a good time to go over something, you know, a little bit more clearly. Now it's a different angle. Usually I come from the other side. I've got the reverse gear on and the idler. Must put them on first. Don't forget them. Make sure this idler is a nice sliding fit on this shaft. Sometimes these shafts can get a bit chewed up, so make sure it slides on nice. I think same thing with this shaft here for the gear shift. Just make sure that that is going to be a nice fit, and there is a reason why. This is the selector of the fork that goes into your extension housing, and it has a pin that goes in there, right? You can see that, can't you? It goes into there. Now when that's tightened up, this can burr over a little bit, causing this to stick. You see how it slides on really nice? If it sticks, which it shouldn't, there that goes, that's another one gone. Simply get a piece of emery with a bit of oil on and just push it. You put a bit of oil on just to stop all the bits sticking to it rather than dropping in your box. If you want, you put a bit of cloth around there or something, and just buff it up just slightly. Take your time, but just make sure that this spool drops on like that. Right, making sure that this fits on nice, and also this bit fits on nice, it's going to drop on. You're not hammering these bits on, because if you do push them down, you're going to select a gear, then you probably have to start all over again with this shaft. Not good. The next thing, you've got your reverse gear in here. I just took the little stone to these and took off any sharp edges. You've got your reverse idler on, and next is the tricky bit, is this Synchro, because it goes the wrong way around to you thinking. You see, it's marked here with 5 little teeth. 5 teeth is the fifth gear, which is this way. This is the reverse. You can always tell it's reverse because it's got in conjunction with 3 gears. 1, 2, 3. See? Now, the thing is about this is, if you put it on the right way, so that the teeth are actually the wrong way around. Right, see here, there's a groove where the circlip goes in. Now, if you turn it if you get it the other way around, let's get them synchros. Yeah, that's. You can't get the synchro ring on. See? So do it the other way around. Now, I did mark when I strip these down. I always get a little grinder and I put a grinder mark on which way they go around. So I mark this inner to this outer, so they always go back on again. So now we'll take this off because that's no good like that. They tend to grow together, you know what I mean, these gears and stuff. So it's best to put them on the right way around, and now we can put that on the right way around. And there we've got our groove for our snap ring. So we're going to find the snap ring and put that on. But before we put it on, we have to put the Synchro fork in, like the selector fork in first. Let's take that off. Now we need to get our spool, this thing here. This can go either way around, doesn't really matter, as long as it slides on that shaft. And then we have to get our selector like this and slide this on at the same time. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, not impossible, but we've got to get that to go into there. Now I'm going to sort of move this around. So you can see that goes into that groove there. I think Madonna's using that. And now we can put that together. Holding onto your Synchro so you don't want them pinging off anywhere. Get it lined up on the spline. Bring this down. And this has got to, this pin here has got to line up in that groove. See there, that pin has got to go into the groove here. It is a bit tricky. pull that round just a little bit. That's it. Can you see that? So now that pin is going to slide up into this slot. There. Now I'm holding onto the Synchro rings. I'm going to turn that down a bit. You don't want them popping off. Just to pop off. There. There we go. And now that is located in there. See? So there's your spool. It's located with the pin and onto the selector. That's how it should be. Now we can fit our circlip. That's a tricky bit. It catches a lot of people out, that being upside down. I don't know why it's marked that way, but it is. So you can't quite see that, can you? There's the lugs of the circlip. I've banged them together. They've got a nice tight fit into there, so that is good. Now the next thing we need to do is put this little bearing on here. In fact, what we're going to do now, just before we put the bearing on, just to double check everything, we're going to do something else just to double check. This is getting a high ratio fifth gear. So we're just going to pop this on here and make sure that the edge of here is going to line up so that the split rings can go in. Now where's the split rings? Bloody hell, I've lost so many bits. But if it's up like this, it's not going to fit. But it has to fit because everything else is there. These little rings here have been known to be too thick and won't fit in. Now this is interesting. I've got two thicknesses of, well, I've got two sets of rings. Before we had a problem with these getting to fit. I've got a sneaking feeling the shim's not the right size at the bottom. There's a little shim right down here. I've got a feeling that that is too thick. And it's just lifting everything up. Because everything else should be fine. What I'm going to do is strip it down again, as usual. And let's have a look. So having stripped all this down again, this is the shim we were talking about. I think that's just a little bit too thick. Just a little bit too thick. That's going to cause some confusion because I don't think I've got one. I can always go down to JP and get him to put it on his surface grinder and take it down, but that's going to be Monday now. Bugger, another job. I'll have a look around in my scrap parts, see if I've got one. So we're going to measure up these collars here and see how thick they are. 0.6 of a millimetre. Do they fit in here? Yes. Yes. That's one pair, that's my pair. Oh, that's the old pair, I would say. And the new pair is here. They fit. Yes. I have had them too thick. Now the thing about this is, if this is too thick and you sort of tap in those half moons, it's going to put a lot of pressure on these and the gears won't turn. So we've got to now sort of try and calculate how much we need. This is going to be fun, isn't it? So we've got, what's that geary thing doing there? Oh, so I've put the shim in the bottom. I don't know why it's so tight, because like I say, I got this box in bits, so I don't know what it was like. So there's the original shim, or the original sin. I'll put that in the bottom. Put the collar, the spacer bushing on. Make sure it's down. Put the gear on without the circlip this time. There we go. We'll put the Synchro on without the Synchro rings in. There. We're not going to put the circlip in. You can see the circlip's a nice tight fit, but that's, you know, that's not too bad. But there's something not quite right with it. We'll put the bushing on. The bearings, so to say. Oh, wait a minute, could it be the gear? Ah, wait a minute, because we're putting 5th speed gear, high ratio gears on. could it be the gear is too tall? Ah, wait a minute, let me go and find the original. So this is the original gear in here, with the original shim. That is just a bit tight. Just a tiny hair tight. So it seems like the shim is too thick. This, by the way, the original R380 gear for a 300 TDI is, what did I say it was? 19 tooth. And the V8 one is a 20 tooth. So I can do one of two things. I can machine off this. Yeah, but this is going to be tricky. Because the machine surface is here, it's going to be tricky to machine this because we don't know if this is flat here where they put this ring on. So I think we've got to re-shim it. So this is the 20 tooth. Oh, it's just a little bit, I think it was about 1/1000th of an inch off. But like I say, if it's too tight, it'll put some pressure on. So that's going to be now a Monday morning job. I'll take the shim down to JP. We'll just take a shaving off, and I'll come backwards and forwards. And I'm not taking bloody box down. I'll go to see JP and see how this is going to go back together. That is just a little bit too tight. You could, if you wish, shave these down a bit, but there's a shim in there for a reason. See, that's a nice snug fit. That's how it should be. So if we could measure all these bits and pieces up, but this is the easiest way to do it. I'm not going to put the snap ring in because we've got to take the snap ring or the circlip. We're not going to put that back in when I get the bloody teeth in, because we need to get to the shim. So this job's now stopped until Monday.